Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Subtray channel. I do hope everyone is doing okay. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about some issues that come with having longer locks. Let's get to it. So as I said, in today's video, we're going to be discussing 5 to 6 issues that people with long locks have been known to encounter. So this is a good video for those of you who may be new to the lock journey, all bright-eyed and bushy-headed, and all you can think about is the day when your locks will be long. Believe me when I say that having long locks is nice, but it's not all that it's cracked up to be. Before we get into today's video, I'm going to ask you to please watch the entire video. I think you could learn a lot. So let's get into this topic. I was thinking about this earlier and I came up with 5 to 6 issues that I have encountered as my locks have gotten longer, which I think may be of interest to you. The first one is that the longer your locks get, the more they tend to get into everything. They just get caught in places that you don't even know exists really, that you've never really paid attention to, but because your hair is longer, you're forced to notice. So that has been one of the main reasons why I like to keep my locks up the majority of the time in a tam, because I just hate them down. They get caught and everything, and you just don't want them all over you sometimes. Sometimes you just want them up and out of the way so that you can eat in peace, or turn your head in peace without being swapped in the eye, or whatever the case may be for you. It can also be hard to find a comfortable position, whether you're sitting in a chair, if you have your locks up, there's that big bulge at the back of your head. It can be hard to get comfortable. This is true when you're sleeping, trying to get comfortable on your pillow. You're trying to figure out how to arrange your locks so that you can find that comfortable sleeping position. And yeah, it's just a hassle. By the way, stay tuned because I will be making a video soon about what to wear to cover your locks at night, so look out for that. Also, when you think about your locks getting longer and longer and longer, many of us, we've said that our locks tell a story. Many of us who have long locks know that it can be a hassle. So you're kind of forced to think about the fact that you are probably not going to let your locks just grow out indefinitely, right? At some point they will have to be trimmed so that you can maintain a certain length, because for them to grow any longer, that would just be a huge inconvenience to your life. So just the thought of having to, at some future point, cut off some of your locks as you trim them, to have to cut away your story, I think that's kind of sad. So that's the first issue that I have with longer locks. They get caught in everything. They're in the way, it's hard to get comfortable, and most likely at some point you're gonna trim them. The second issue that I've noticed is that it's more of a hassle when it comes to washing. Just having that much more hair saturated in water, it's heavier. You have to use more shampoo because there's more hair to cleanse. And I'm not gonna say conditioner, because if you watch my video, the one where I highlight the correct way to apply conditioner, then you should technically be using still the same amount of conditioner, because your scalp isn't getting any bigger, right? And you should really only be applying conditioner to your roots. But definitely, when it comes to shampoo, you're gonna be using more of that. And for those of you who dye your hair often, you're gonna need more than one box most likely. And it's probably just gonna continue increasing in terms of the number of boxes that's gonna be required to dye your whole head. So just more product usage, which can be more costly. Now, of course, after you wash your locks, then you have to worry about them drying. And with longer locks, with more hair, that means longer drying time. And with a longer drying time, the higher the chances that you can develop mold and mildew, because your locks have not dried thoroughly, completely, and properly. So it's just another issue that you have to be on the lookout for. It's something that you have to make sure that you're on point with every single time you wet your locks, that they dry thoroughly and completely, so that you don't have the issue of mold and mildew. Just made a video on mold and mildew. Check that video out. Drying time is such an issue now with my locks. I've adopted a new way to dry my locks, and I'll be making a video about that very soon too, so stay tuned for that. The next issue that I've noticed comes with having longer locks is that you are forced to adjust your routine. Let me give you an example. Back in my first year, before I even thought about using a satin bonnet, I used to use a do-rag, and it worked perfectly. I wore it every night. It had the tail so you could tie it and secure it on your head, and it was just perfect. The do-rag covered all of my locks, so I didn't have to worry about any of them being exposed. But of course, as my locks got longer, it stopped me from being able to use a do-rag because they could no longer all fit under it. And so this is what I mean about having to change up your routine. Just when you establish a routine that's working for you, because your locks are now longer, you have to figure out other things that work. So I would just say having to change up your routine when you're already comfortable, that can be very annoying. And I just told you in the previous point that, you know, I do something different now when it comes to drying my locks. So that's another example of how I've had to adjust my routine to account for these longer locks. The next point is that the older and therefore longer your locks get, the more you start to see the negative effects that past actions have caused. So for example, those of you who have maybe bleached your locks quite often in the past and never really saw any problems or issues, you begin to now notice, you know, breakage at the tips and the ends or weak spots. Back when you first bleached it, you may not have noticed anything other than the fact that it felt different and that you needed to moisturize a little bit more than you had before. But nothing in the way of like locks breaking off or, you know, just seeing weak spots and stuff like that. But now, because your locks are older, they're really starting to reveal to you all of the things that you did to your locks that maybe you shouldn't have. So that's definitely one issue that comes with having longer locks. And the last issue would be the longer you've had your locks, the more you start to miss what it was like to not have locks. So let me give an example. For me, I used to always keep a pretty clean shaven, almost bald head. I used to cut my own head, so I never had to worry about going to a barber shop or paying for it. And it was just easy and convenient. And quite honestly, I've had hair in general for God only knows how many years. I've had locks for almost 6 years. So yeah, you kind of miss certain things like being in the shower and having the water from the shower head actually make direct contact with your scalp, or you miss being able to actually feel just your head, you know, feeling the shape of your head, things like that. And you know, this may not be true for everyone, but I can tell you from my own experience that those are definitely things that I have missed. Maybe for you, it might be something else. It's like the further you get away from a time when you didn't have locks, when your hair was maybe in some other style, you kind of miss it. You feel a bit nostalgic about it. Now, it may not be enough to make you want to cut your locks off and, you know, go back to that style, right? Obviously, you got locks for a reason, but it does make you go, from time to time. And that's just the truth. So this video is not to discourage anyone from getting locks. It's definitely not to discourage anyone from letting their locks grow out longer. It's more so just to give you an idea of some of the things that you might encounter as your locks get longer. You know, many of you are at this point, and I was guilty of it earlier in my quest, so I'm not judging you, I'm not criticizing you, but you're obsessed with length. You see someone, if you're on Instagram or on YouTube, and you see they have long locks and you're like, I can't wait for my locks to get that long. But just let me tell you, it's not all roses, you know? There's a certain responsibility that comes with having longer locks. I still love my locks. Obviously, I still have them, and I love their length. And I know you guys will too once you get to this point. But yeah, I just wanted to keep it real. For those of you who have longer locks already, and maybe you have different experiences, or even similar experiences, please comment down below and give me your thoughts. If you guys like this video, please like it. And if you want to see more content from me, please subscribe. And if you made it this far in the video, in your comments to me, type 1111. Alright, that is it for this video. As always, please learn to love unconditionally, because loving with conditions conditions the heart to not really love at all. Subtree is out.